I feel like it's the perfect time actually just to ask what you think or what you see for the two of us in terms of our work together and going forth with building a platform or a show or whatever. Again, we're trying not to be so tied to the exact outcome, but
Sure.
what is it? Because we do have this shared vision of showing people that the magic is within them and that there is a plan and you can find it with all of these spiritual tools and resources that are out there.
Yeah. And so, well, what I see for this work in general, I mean, it's in an experimental and an expansive time. And so that might not ever change. It's a living, breathing offering. It's not like every podcast will look the same. You know, you'll have different guests. Your audience is widening. That net that you're casting out is widening. And I feel that because you're growing with the work, it's going to be transformative as you transform. It's going to be a reflection back. And I do feel that the work that you're doing is going to get picked up by larger channels. Like, so if it's bigger names or, you know, there's like stronger energy behind it, but it's really up to you of what it looks like where you want it to go. Like, you might want to do, you know, retreats at some point. So like if you two are super interested in traveling, maybe there is a retreat that you have in another country and it's open to a small group, or it's an offering that you have somewhere that you can say, you know, 30 people sign up for this and we do these retreats quarterly, or we're in Spain and then, you know, we're in France and we're in these different places and people are drawn to those group settings. I see a lot of international work, or at least an international audience. And I also feel that I see you both doing the shared work, but then having two separate paths with it as well. So it's like the same messaging, but with different stories. So you're hitting different places. So like if Robyn's somewhere in Europe, it doesn't mean that Karen's in, you know, Sedona, but you're spreading those same messages, but leading with your own individual lights and then coming together on shared platforms, whether it's a TV show, and talking about those experiences and those synchronicities and how it's kind of overlapping. Because I do see it as collaborative, but I also see it kind of going like this. You weave in and out of the storytelling. You don't always have to be partnered on everything too, where one of you might be writing a book, the other one might have a TV show, and I see it moving in, but it always still comes back together. And when you're coming back together, it grows. It takes the next step. It's taking the next step and the next step. I also feel that there's going to be themes that keep popping up in this work that you'll revisit as you build. So you might say, oh, a year ago we talked about this, and now we have this person back to rebuild on the same topic. Or you have an entire series on, I mean, the energy of fear alone, we could talk about for days, what fear is about. And so I see that as this is a living, breathing thing, you're starting to pick up themes or what other people want to work on in their healing modalities. I don't know, even though I'm hearing bigger names picking up, like coming in, I kind of hear too that you're building on your own channel, that you might not have to take the opportunities that are coming because you create your own thing. Like, you won't need to be sponsored by or get someone else to help you build your own reputation. It's that you've done it completely on your own.
That makes sense. I think in many ways we feel like we're headed in that direction, where we are creating actually the actual even platform for this.
Why do you need someone else? You were saying, yeah, because like, why not build your own platform? Like, it's entirely creating your own thing where you don't need someone else to come in and say, oh, we're sponsoring you, or we backed you, or you're attached to our name. You can just do it on your own integrity. There's no hierarchy to the work that you're doing. So even if someone has 3 million followers and you have 500,000, as long as you're truthful and authentic, that is the merit of your own work. And that's where I see you both growing with this and adding in kind of your own tidbits and just not being sure what it looks like yet, but you're garnering that support right now. It's just the early phases. And it's not to say you won't weave in and out of other people's work and that it won't be collaborative, but I still see it as so much more on its own and not, feeding off of someone else's channel or energy.
That's interesting. Yeah. Directionally, we've been trying to weave around that. Like, where does it make the most sense for us to financially get the backing and then scale what we want?
But I see the financial backing just coming in based on the work that you're continuing to do. It could be a cold call. It could be someone just says, hey, I've been following you for a while. Are you ready to level up your audience? I can offer this. And it doesn't necessarily it can be a general operating gift and not be like, well, but I need you to collaborate or partner here with us, because I wouldn't take sometimes we see what's called like mission creep, where you see like two names attached and you're like, that doesn't make sense, but they obviously took the funding from that large thing, and it would dilute you or tuck you behind someone else's name. And I don't see that. I see, it's like a cold call or an offering. Someone just comes in and they're just, hey, I love the work that you're doing. I can offer this, but just keep doing what you're doing and not try to change who you are.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That's totally possible.
Yeah, it is. And we really do have these concrete ideas of taking what we are doing, but being able to do it to showcase how this can be done for so many different people in different situations. That would be the goal, to really start and then be able to use technology in order to offer different types of courses and programming and community and support and products. We have this much bigger vision that we hope can help people from all over, from any background, who feel stuck.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah. That need help and are wondering why they're in the situation and how do they get out of it.
But that level of accessibility you'll get just by building the reputation that you have. And so the people that, like building out your own platform, you'll naturally draw in that sense of community of people who are like, I want to be a part of that. I want to help, anyone who's like, whether someone offers a service or a product or whatever, it will be in that natural alignment. And I think the financial backing will just come, someone investing just in the idea of it, because honestly, it hasn't been done before to have such a comprehensive and accessible platform. And so, the startup cost to make that happen isn't unattainable, because it's garnering the more so, I would say it's energetic support more than it is financial too. Because if you have the energetic support where someone's like, yeah, I want to offer my product here, or yes, I want to offer my service, and it's cleanly organized, the financial support will come in of someone like, I think that this is great. Here's what you may need to keep it going. I don't think it has to be something that like you have to diligently fundraise for. It's just because you're putting it out in the field.
That's awesome. That's what we've been hoping would happen.
Really?
Well, it hasn't been done before. I can't think of one.
No,
thing.
It hasn't.
Yeah. No, it hasn't. And we feel called. Somehow this was part of the plan, right? Like we came from such different worlds and we met each other, and it's that unlocking feeling, right? So we saw each other and we're like, I'm supposed to know that person. And then we were validated, right? There were clear validations in our friendship and working relationship and all of that, and a shared vision. Individually, we each had our own vision of how we could bring something like this to the world.
Yeah.
And it's just slowly coming together, and we feel so grateful that we've been able to even produce what we've produced over the last year. But we know it can touch so many more lives. So that's where, and we're like ready. We're like, let's go.
We saw the need, but we found like it was because we came from the backgrounds that we did and had the experiences that we did and the work. Like it was just like, of course, that's what we should be doing, right? Mm-hmm. So, and we've been walking the walk ever since, almost every day, just talking about how it will come into being.
There's no mistake that you've been placed in the careers, in the space-time access that you're both in to meet each other, because your background in building these platforms and to be around, the individuals or in the, the thought forms around this sort of work has led you to this exact moment. And when you talk about your job, okay, I see you making decisions of like, okay, this is my plan to leave, or this is my timeline, or how I'll do it. And they're like, shh. I kind of feel, you don't have to tell me this, but like, I feel like they might already know, or someone already knows that you're shifting gears. If it's an energy that has been put out there, because I feel like they are like, how do we keep her? How do we rope her in? What can we offer? It's like this energy. And that's fine, because when you want to go or whatever, mm-hmm. you will, but I can also see them being like, hey, not so fast. We're keeping you as a consultant here. We're doing this. But at the same time, these could be the people who are your greatest advocates moving forward. So if you're like, actually, I'm leaving to go do this, it could be someone who's been in the background the whole time. That's like, you know what? That's a great idea. Let me help you build that out, because they're not your enemies. they're your
Totally.
allies. But yeah, I just really see that like not that it's like suffocating you, but they have a tight hold on you because of how good your work is. And I think that's part of why you're feeling it could be harder to move forward. It's not like you're blocked in your own ability or the fear of how am I going to support myself or bring this in. It's almost like they're like, hey, you're doing such a good job here. If you go and take this somewhere else, we lose your magic here. And I hear that more than anything else. It's not a block that you can't do it. They're like, hey, we can't have you shift into something else. That might transmute into them being like, so fine, if you've made up your mind, how can we best support you to be a part?
Totally, it could.
Yeah.
There are people that you work with that do have your best interests. And same with you in your past work. I do see people that can come out of the woodwork and maybe they're not, or they're third degree out, that are saying, hey, you know what? I want to back your idea. It's just still loose in that thought form.
Yes, it is. I agree.
But like, it could be 6 months from now that an investor or someone else comes in and say, hey, I want to back this, or let me just gift you this, or what do you need? It's not like in a place of attachment where like anyone wants to control it or say, you know what, I'm going to buy you out, brand it, and you're going to do it this way. That's not going to happen. You're towing the line there.
Oh, I have the chills.
Part of both of your clearing work around this have been able to say no to those really shiny opportunities where they're like, oh, we'll back you for, X amount, but it has to look like X, Y, and Z. And it's like, no, you know what? I would rather get this off the ground completely off of my own merit, which you're doing. And then I still see, even now, when I look at all of this in totality, I see like 3 or 4 opportunities or like portals around it where it's like support or opportunity or advancement or whatever. And it just hasn't been shown yet.
We're in that time of when you have the stillness or you're in that part that does feel like, is it ever going to happen? And we obviously have faith, right? We believe, but even when you have that much faith and that much belief, you still can be like, is it ever going to happen? Like it does feel like forever, even though I know in the grand scheme of life, it is not. It does feel a little challenging to wait when you're ready.
Yeah. And I think also it's just building this out and exactly how you want it to be without, just the influence of other people or thinking like, oh, we should rush this because then we put out we get it out there sooner. And I think it's more important to have the quality of the work and have it look really how you want it to be, because when it's never going to be perfect, but when it's the cleanest version of what you want it to be, that's when you're going to attract in, whether it's the investors or the clients, or, honestly, you might not even need some other sponsorship or, funding or whatever. It could just be you have the right practitioners and products and services of all people that are like, hey, you're welcome to put my information out there for free. Thanks so much for creating a container for it all. And it could blow up on its own accord.
You're right. And you really, so much of what we do, in addition to having these kind of conversations, is really finding people who are authentic, who are really putting out their gift in the world for pure reasons. And I have to say, it's not easy to find those people. So our goal is to be a home for all those people so that those that need the help know exactly where to go to find people that have been vetted and that are the real deal and are doing it for the right reasons and represent all these different modalities that most people don't know about because we don't grow up talking about this. So
the Academy of Intuition Medicine,
yes. Like
that's
what?
That
should be everywhere. That should be like started when we're young.
Yeah. And that's what I like fundamentally don't get about like our society of like how it's structured or like what's taught in schools and stuff. It's like, you're not necessarily taught to be compassionate or to have healthy boundaries or to speak your truth. It's like quiet, be quiet, like work in a group. Here's your assigned group. It's like, that doesn't foster like making healthy decisions or working within your boundaries or honoring your truth. Or like when you're talking about bringing in authentic people and vetting the right people, you'll do that by being out in the world of who you are, just by the happenstance connections. And it's not putting all this pressure of like, we need these business meetings to determine what our website and our platform is going to look like. And yes, of course, there's going to be that end of it. But I also think it's like, how can you guys keep living your daily lives, and you're going to run into the next person on the podcast while you're at the grocery store.
Yes.
And it's navigating within ourselves all of these tools and then letting it play out is how I see it. Because I don't sense that either of you need some huge, like, nothing's going to save you, or it's not by design that you need to be saved or you need someone to come in to support this. It's not like you're like, oh, we're struggling to get this off the ground, like we just need someone to back us. It's already going to be high level, and then you're going to get to be choosy about the support that you want. Clearer you are on all of this is the stronger it's going to be in and of itself, intrinsically stronger.
And that's what we've been focusing on for the last year, and have been honestly grateful, because this time, this investment in each other and these conversations have just sort of fine-tuned the vision and the, I don't want to say brand, but like what we stand for, what this is all about. And that word authenticity keeps coming up. It's like so important to us that we remember every day that we're talking about soul's journeys, and they're very fragile. And, you know, we want to make sure that any ingredients we offer, tools that are ones that are going to help them navigate that and not make them feel more lost. So all of this work that we've done together has really helped energetically align us more, even though we were already aligned, but even more so that as a team, you know, if Robyn is off, you know, shooting a show and I'm not part of the show, I'm off helping guide the platform and the brand experience and, you know, all the other elements that are going into making sure that we maximize that message everywhere it needs to go.
What's so important about this work is that it's really for everyone. It's all inclusive, and you can be anywhere in the world. I mean, we're all human. We all have moments where we don't have everything we need, and we need support. We need clarity, and you're just offering something that anyone from any different walk of life with any experience can find a resource or a tool that's going to help them. Like nothing is off limits. Nothing is too exclusive. And I think that's been a problem with healing work, is that it's not necessarily accessible, or people don't know where to begin. I mean, that's why there's a million self-help books, things like that, because a lot of times people are starting in a place of they're completely lost, or they know what they want. But like in your situation, you know what you want, but you're responsible for also a bunch of people, which can make it, how do you follow your soul when you have 10 other souls that are dependent on you? But it's also that belief of like, if you follow what's right for you, everyone will get the trickle down from that, the ripple effect, because you're leading from a place of example. They'll get everything they need, but it goes back to it not being packaged exactly how they thought it would be. But you actually do everyone a favor if you're living authentically and you make it all happen. This could be bigger. I already sense it will be bigger than what you're already doing. And then that shows them, well, if I live authentically, I can have a life beyond my wildest dreams too. That should be kind of the blanket messaging for anyone entering into this platform of that they can heal whatever it is they're up against. They can find answers to whatever questions they have, because they have the wisdom within themselves. They just need to be navigated towards it.
Exactly.
We live in free will. Like there is no right or wrong. If you want to keep your job and stay doing the same thing, you'll find a dynamic where it's all possible. But if you're really feeling that push, everything else will be supported as well. And it will be supported in a way greater way than you can imagine right now. It's just that spirit's like, hey, are you sure? Can I trust that you trust yourself? Do you believe in you? And so as soon as you take that step is when things come in. And I see that happen with people all the time too. They're like, I don't know, like, I don't want to quit my job because I haven't found anything. And they might be applying for like months and months and months, and then nothing is coming in. And they're like, well, I don't want to quit because I don't want to go without a paycheck. And a lot of times, as soon as that person takes that step and they quit, or they do the right, you know, whatever their feeling is next for them, the next job comes in like a week later or whatever. It just wasn't going to be pulled in until you clear the space. You're right in it, Karen. You're right in that. Okay, I feel something big is coming, and I do feel that push. Less than 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, this feels quick. I mean, I know 3 months can feel long in the human experience.
No, but I think we've all learned over the last year. Like, because the year feels long and short, right? Like it feels like it's been a year, and it also feels like it's been no time in many ways, you know? So 3 months, we got that. We can hang on to that. Everything you said both in our readings as well as within the conversation, are going to help so many people.
How did you get so wise? Thank you so
Thank you.
much
Yes.
for all of it. For all of it. You're
Great,
just,
thank you. This has been so incredible for me.
oh,
Like,
Well,
oh,
and
man.
just so you know, I have a feeling from this, you're going to get a lot of people reaching out to you.
just the beginning, girl.
Thank you
So
so much
wonderful.
love, and I can't wait to talk again.
Thank
You too.
you. Elizabeth.
Okay.
Bye.
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 For more information about Elizabeth or to book a session, visit elizabethfurest.com. That's ELIZABETHFUREST.com. You can also follow Elizabeth at Solitary Connection on Instagram. Thank you.